Hello, and welcome back to the channel. Previously, I took the engine block to the machine shop, and I went through pistons and connecting rods with you. Today, I'm going to be showing you the old oil pump. Let's open it up and see what's inside, and I can show you the internal workings of it, and let's see how bad it really is. I'm also going to be measuring the journals on the crankshaft to see if I need that ground as well, or if I can use standard bearings. If you enjoy this content, please give me a like and maybe subscribe. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment below. And let's get right into it. So this is the oil pump. This is one that's run off of the front of the crank. There are a couple different styles of oil pumps, but right on the front of the block looks like there's a little bit of some chain issues. That's a big downfall for these 5.4s. They'll start slapping the chain against here, and that's what causes this wear. The crankshaft would go right through here. You can kind of see these little things in here. We'll be able to see it a little bit better once I get it out of here. But the crank is keyed for this drive, and that's what actually makes this spin. The pickup tube would go here for the grabbing the oil from the oil pan, and then the output would be right here. So oil's coming in here and then out here. This right here, this is held in with a hex bit nut, and there's a big spring in here with a check valve. This right here is what controls your oil pressure. So I mean, this is set for, I think it's 60 psi. Not quite sure what the actual setting is for this, but if you wanted to increase oil pressure, I don't know that they make kits, but that would be replacing this spring right here. But really, for everyday use, you don't have to worry about that. So this plate right here is held in with some Torx bit screws, and hopefully I don't break a tool today. I used to take these things apart all the time at one of the engine building shops I was in, and every couple weeks I was going through one of these Torx bits. So hopefully that doesn't happen today. Alright, now that we got those off, we can take this panel off of here. And oh yeah. So you can see right here, you see that scoring? That's from all the aluminum that was going through this engine. And it was just, this isn't the worst one I've seen, but I definitely wouldn't recommend reusing this. And that's why I got a different one. So in here, you have these two gears. You have this inner one. This inner one actually has one less tooth in here, and that's what actually makes it be able to do this. But of course this won't spin like this. This will just stay fixed. So as oil is coming in here, as this is spinning, I don't know if you can really see, but the oil would travel in through here, be pushed over to this other side, and then it would basically squeeze it out in this area here. and that's how oil would flow through. You can kind of see in here, this is where the spring would be. You can kind of see the spring there. This is what controls your oil pressure. If there's too much, this would bleed back off into the oil pan. And yeah, it comes in through here and right out here. So these rings, you can actually take them out. And it's not terrible. You can kind of see the scoring. These usually aren't too bad because these are hardened steel. The rest of this is aluminum, this case and everything. And we'll take this piece out right here. And yeah, that's basically the rings for it. And inside here, that actually doesn't look too bad. That's a surprise. Yeah, with rebuilds for this, they usually come with new rings and a new spring and a block off for the oil pressure, and you would basically just take these out, put the new ones in if the case was okay. I got a whole new oil pump with the case, so I'm not going to worry about this. But yeah, this doesn't look terrible, which is really surprising. Yeah, that's basically what's going on in here. These little dots here basically mean that that's the top. There's one on each of them, as you see right here. One right there, one right there. And the other way you can tell, some of them, it looks like this one doesn't. But example, 5.3 GM, the LS engine, that will actually have a little bevel right here. So if you tried to put it in upside down, it would bind up in here and it would cause all kinds of problems. So you really want to be sure you put these in the correct way if you're doing a rebuild on these. All right, this right here is the crankshaft I'm going to be reusing. I'm going to get all the pieces off of it. Basically, I was in the junkyard and I didn't have a tool to take this off there because I forgot to bring it. So I did what I had to get it out at the time. So I'm going to get this off of it, and the oil pump, also the rear main seal is still on this thing and I need to knock that off. Once I do all that, then I'll measure each of the journals in here, rod and main, and see what size bearings I need, whether I need standard bearings or oversize, if this needs to be machined at all. I don't think it needs to because these journals are looking pretty good. So yeah, let's take a look. First we need to get this off. Alright, so this is the tool I'm going to be using. This is a harmonic balancer removal tool. This harmonic balancer has threads in here, that's why I can put these bolts in place. And this will go right over top. This center piece, this center bolt, this will push against the crank and pull this out, and hopefully it just pops right off of here. Now that we have that off, now we can get this little wheel off for the timing. And then we can pull off the oil pump. And again, this one I can probably show you on the crank now the keys that actually drive this oil pump. So if you're looking at the side here, you see how it's got this flat spot? This flat spot is on both sides of this crank, and that's what goes into that oil pump and makes it spin. Let's flip this thing over and get that rear main seal off. Alright. Now this is going to be a little bit of a pain. Usually this just slips right off of here, but for some reason this is pretty seized on this crankshaft. So I need to get this piece off here, then I can pull off the actual seal itself. And yeah, let's see if I can actually do this. Went and grabbed my small pry bar and try to pry this thing off of here. Looks like that's not going to work, so next we'll try this and hammer. See if this gets it off of here. I'm gonna rest it against my knee here so it doesn't fall over. There we go. Looks like it's coming off of there. There we go. Now we should just be able to take this seal right off of here. And this is your rear main seal. Basically, the way these things work, if you look inside here, you got this spring. This spring fits in here and pushes this rubber up against this journal right here, and that's what keeps your oil inside your engine. One thing you have to be aware of when you're installing new ones is sometimes when you're knocking these things into place, because you're going to fit it right into your seal this way, if you're hitting this, sometimes that spring likes to come out, which I'll show you once I get the new seal into the case for the rear main, how you can actually keep that in there. The next thing I need to do here is I need to measure each of these journals. The way these cranks are set up, you have your mains here. This will connect directly to your block. And then each cylinder is going to use these. But if you can see this line right here, 2 cylinders uses one of these journals. So you're going to have one piston going up one side of the V and this one going up the other side. Basically, it utilizes the space on this better, and it's a reduction of material cost. That's why they do it this way. So I need to run inside and grab the mics that I have to actually measure these and figure out what the specs are for this. So I'll be right back. So I went and grabbed my micrometer. I have a couple different ones. This one I'm going to be using to measure the connecting rod journals. I'm not going to go through how to actually read these things. If you want me to at some point, let me know in a comment. But to keep this video a little bit shorter, I'm just going to show general use, not exact use. These surfaces right here, you want them on the outside edges of your journal. And kind of back it off a little bit every now and again and try different spots to make sure you got it. Once you think you have it, try sliding it on and off. If you want a little bit of resistance, but you don't want to be like tugging on this thing, you know. So this little thing down here, it clicks so it doesn't put a ton of torque on this part that tightens up. So the way these things like to wear, you'll have the center part of this actually be a little bit shallower than the outsides. So we're going to be checking that too to make sure that the outsides are the same diameter as the inside. It looks like there's a little bit of wear. It's not too bad, but let's see. Now I'll actually do the measurement. That feels pretty good right there. I'll lock it into place here, and then I'll do my measurement. So I measured the crankshaft and all the measurements came back pretty good. I'm going to run standard bearings with this crank, so I don't need to do any grinding of the crank. Once the block comes back from the machine shop, I'll start with assembling the engine and continue this little video series. Hopefully you guys enjoy this. Let me know if you have any questions about anything that I've covered in this, and I'll try to explain it in more detail. Yeah, with that, have a great day, guys. So I'm back from the machine shop after dropping off the engine. It's probably going to take them about a week to do the milling of the engine. A little fuzzy.